live. I think that's often what people do, don't they?
They do. They do.
They can watch it, skip over the bad bits.
And will you be recording for me, Jenny?
Yes, I've started recording.
You started. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, okay, a few more people are joining us. I can see. So, have you started up a new UCISA group, Sally?
I have, yes.
Yeah, do you want to tell people about it?
Well, we're just forming at the moment, so there will be an official update from UCISA once we've kind of got it nailed down. But we had a first meeting, and it's really looking at a group to support women in IT within the HE sector, with a bit of a broader remit of looking at diversity and inclusion across the piece, but really about kind of supporting some of the challenges and also celebrating some of the good work that's going off in our sector as well. So we've had about 35 people register interest. So what we're looking at will be a core UCISA group with then a lot of regional and local groups. So people can get involved at different levels, because it can be quite a big commitment to be on the main a core UCISA group, and actually 35 would be a pretty big UCISA group. So the aim is to set up sort of local groups, and we can do more work at grassroots then. We are looking to recruit some men as well, so we have had a couple of men express some interest. But, you know, we need men to be involved in the solutions to some of the challenges. It can't just be women. So I worry a bit. So we're just deciding on a name at the moment, because we don't kind of alienate an entire gender. But it is about supporting women in IT. But there'll be an official statement from UCISA once we've kind of ironed out a few kinks.
Wonderful. It sounds good. Sounds very good. Okay, well, I think the numbers have actually gone down. We had 7 and now it's 6. All right, so I think we're going to start, because we did say it was going to be a 12 o'clock start. Okay, so I'd like to just say welcome to the UCISA Digital Capability Group webinar. And today I have joining from the group Jeni Brown. She's going to be actually sharing her experiences on the award system, but also she'll be helping me to run this webinar. Okay, so we are recording this webinar because there were no objections at the time of booking. Slide. So let me just quickly tell you a little bit about our group activities. We're there to share best practices, and the way that we do that, we do it through conferences, tweeting. I can just hear lots of noises. Is that me? Can you hear feedback from me?
Yeah, I don't know if people have got the microphones on.
Okay, well, I think it's gone now. That's fine. So tweets and webinars like today, and also surveys, and we also have a forum, our Ning community. All right, so with the conferences, the last conference that we had was a spotlight on digital capabilities, and it was number 4. All right, and it was called From Theory to Action, and that was held back in May, but we do have recordings that you can access via the UCISA website. Okay, and that was held at the University of Warwick. 60-minute tech talks like today. So today we're going to be talking about awards and recognition. I'm going to hear from both Jenny and Sally. All right. Another way that we share best practices is through our forum. And if you have a look at the screen, I'm so sorry. Wayne, is it possible for you to mute your mic for us? Thank you. And the address down at the bottom, http://digitalskillsanddevelopment.ning.com. So you can actually join our forum if you want to. All you have to do is just register. Okay, and then we share best practices through survey. So we're working on a survey now. There are some results for the 2017 Digital Capability Survey report. on the website, on the UCISA website. So if you go there, look for our group, then you'll be able to access the report. And that's it. That's how we share our best practices. So I'm sure you didn't join to hear me talk. You're here to hear Jeni Brown and Sally Bogg. And I believe that Sally's going to go first and share her experiences about the awards and recognition process.
I am. So if you can just stop sharing, because it won't let me share until you've stopped. Right, and then share. Okay, can you all see that okay now?
Yeah, yes. Did you want to do it in presentation mode?
Yeah, is that not what you can see?
It's presenter mode we see.
Ah, right, okay. Hang on a minute. It's because, let me just see if I can, it's because I'm using it from my Surface Pro. Let me just see if I can close this and see if it'll allow me to drive from my desktop. How's that? Slideshow.
Just drop
How's
down.
that one?
Oh, lovely. That's perfect.
Excellent. Okay, so so thanks a lot for inviting me. I just kind of wanted to share my experiences of kind of going through the award process, and not just talking about kind of my own experience of the awards I've been nominated, but really the way that I've used awards as part of a formal reward and recognition programme, because actually that's where the value is. So first up, a bit about me, for those of you that don't know me already. I'm a shoe-loving, tea-drinking Yorkshire lass. I'm Head of End User Services at Leeds Beckett University. I've got an absolute passion for IT service management, for customer service, higher education and service desk. And I'm really proud and really humbled that I was winner of Women in IT Business Role Model of the Year 2018 and Service Desk Institute Inspirational Leader of the year 2017. Sorry, I'm just having some technical issues, if you just bear with me. For some reason my screen's gone off. Can you all still see me?
We can see the normal mode in PowerPoint.
I'll just have to do it from this. I do apologise. The challenges of working with a Surface Pro, I'm afraid. Is that going to do it? How's that? No, it's just doing it in display settings. Let me have a look. Swap presenter. There we go. Okay. So a bit then about awards, really. So as I said, I have always been keen to use awards as part of our formal reward and recognition programme, and that's really how it all started, was more me entering teams and projects and services that I was responsible for industry awards. So mainly the Service Desk Institute, but not limited to. And that was really because at the time I had an IT director who strategically was very outward looking, and I knew that if I wanted to get buy-in for the service desk, I needed the outside kind of support and that outside accolade. So it was a very deliberate kind of strategy. But also it was about giving the teams who were working super hard and doing really good work that sort of sense of achievement and pride, and that was kind of the key driver. So we started off with the SDI Awards, so we were finalists. This was while I was at the University of Leeds. We were finalists in the Best Small Service Desk category in 2015 and 2016. We didn't actually win, but we did enjoy being finalists and all the kind of excitement that comes with that. Antonia Jones, who was one of the first people I recruited, we put her forward, and she won IT Support Professional in 2015. I had an intern, Laura, and she was a finalist, didn't quite make didn't win, but was a finalist, so sort of top 3 for the National Undergraduate Employability Awards. And that was brilliant because that was a joint enterprise between IT services, because Laura was our intern, but actually working with the careers department as well. So that really brought us together. So there's all kinds of benefits that you maybe don't anticipate when you start to look at them. The UCISA Award for Excellence for our service desk certification, we were highly commended. So runner-up quite a lot of times, but that was fine because actually the value for me, I feel, was in the process. It was bringing the team in, so the team were always involved in deciding which awards to go for and who to put forward. So for example, Antonia, when we put Antonia forward, that was a team vote. The team said, you know, we think she's the best person to represent us, and get them involved in bringing in the evidence. Sometimes you have to make videos, which is really good fun. So it's all about reward and recognition, really, in that team building. And it's just a really, really powerful motivator for people, I think, even if you don't win. It's, you know, knowing that you've got a manager that's out there saying, or somebody that's saying, actually, you're so good, I think we should go for an award, I think can be really, really powerful. So that's kind of where it started. And then off the back of that, I was very fortunate to be nominated for a number of awards. So first of all, Service Desk Institute Inspirational Leader. So I've been nominated twice, once in 2015 when I made the final 3, and then again in 2017, not sure by who. In those times, it was a 3-stage process. So you get the nomination, then you're asked to provide a supporting statement. Have to be honest, I found initially the supporting statement quite difficult. So you're asked to kind of have a bit of a brag and a boast about all the things that you do. So that can be a little bit uncomfortable if you're writing that for yourself. But I've got over that now, and I'm actually quite proud to talk about the good work that I've done and the good work of the teams and the services that I offer. And then you get to attend a judging day in Birmingham. So that was a 10-minute presentation and then about a 40-minute Q&A session. Not dissimilar to an interview, I have to say. Panel of 3 judges, but it's quite friendly. It's not sort of aggressive. It's not like it is on The Apprentice or anything like that, but still nerve-wracking. So fantastic experience, and did really enjoy it, if somewhat nervous. And then that was in January, early January. Then they announced the final 3 kind of late January, and the final 3 are invited to attend the award ceremony in March as part of the conference, and that's where the winner was announced. So I was absolutely delighted and over the moon. It was very unexpected to have won. And then there's always like a flurry of kind of follow-up activity. Of course, the university is always keen to promote staff that have won awards or teams that have won awards. So there was an article on the university staff news website and on the SDI website, which has quite a big reach. And then what I find after that is, there's usually a flurry of activity around my Twitter and my LinkedIn. And usually off the back of it, you get invited to partake in more things, which is really exciting, and is probably one of the best benefits, is that I've been able to really broaden my network, and I've done some really interesting stuff off the back of winning the award. The main one being that the SDI actually invite previous winners to be judges, and that's one of my favourite things, is I get to be involved in the judging. So this year I was a judge on the Inspirational Leader Award, and previously I've been a judge on the Service Desk Managers Award, and it's just fantastic. It's really interesting to hear other people's stories and just be part of something that's so positive and really celebrates the amazing work that's going on in our sector, really. So that's the Service Desk Institute Inspirational Leader Award. Women in IT Business Role Model of the Year. So that was a slightly different one. That's not limited to a particular sector. That goes right across technology. And I was actually nominated by Ivanti, who are our IT service management supplier, and they were actually looking for women in the sector to promote as part of their focus on gender balance. They're doing a lot of work in that arena. They've set up a group called the Techie Girls. So that was really nice. And actually this time it was a lot easier because Ivanti employed a marketing team who put together the award submission. So they just ask you loads of questions and find out about all the stuff that you're doing, and they trawl through Twitter and LinkedIn and stuff. And they pull all that together, which is not quite as difficult as when you've got to write it for yourself. This time there were 8 finalists. That was announced in September. It was announced to the finalists, but they don't do any press until January, so there's quite a big lag around that one. And then again, you get invited to attend the award ceremony. I went, so Ivanti kindly sponsored a table, so I was able to take 3 members of the university, my IT director, my line manager, and the best bit was I was able to take because I'm an alumni, so I studied at Leeds Beckett. I was able to invite one of my professors, and she's now head of the Centre of Learning, Director of Centre of Learning and Teaching, but I was one of her students back in 2002. So having her there with me was just absolutely amazing. And again, I was kind of astounded. I really didn't expect to win. It's all very glitzy and very glamorous. It was in a beautiful hotel in London, but it's just, whether you win or not, I think the value is being part of something that's so positive. I am really passionate about supporting gender balance in IT, and here was a whole award ceremony that was just dedicated to doing just that. And I got to meet Maggie Philbin, who I kind of grew up watching on TV, so she presented me with the award. So it was pretty awesome. Again, a lot of follow-up activity. This one was quite a high-profile award ceremony. So there was an article on the Staff News website, but it was picked up by quite a lot of local press. And it also went on the Ivanti website. Now they've got 27,000 customers. So again, the outreach for that is pretty phenomenal. And again, lots of activity on LinkedIn, sort of people wanting to connect and find out more, and lots of invitations to do really interesting and exciting stuff. One being given I was invited to give the State of the Nation address at the IT Service Management Awards earlier this year, where again, I was able to kind of use my voice to support the things that I'm really passionate about, and that was around diversity and inclusion in IT and IT service management. So I think the value for me, yes, winning is lovely and it's absolutely amazing. And you do get into a little bubble for a few days, but then you kind of forget about it and it's back to your day job. I guess the real value for me is that it elevates and amplifies my voice. And it gives me opportunity to get out and talk about the things that I'm really passionate about and the things that I really care about, and hopefully to make a bit of a difference. So I guess kind of it's not around the glory. It's the stuff that comes after that's really, really important to me. Although I won't lie, getting a trophy is quite a nice thing. I never won anything at school. I was rubbish at sports. So yeah, it's kind of nice to come to it a bit later in life. The other thing I wanted to talk about then, because I've touched on it a little bit, is Twitter and LinkedIn and having a digital presence. And I think if you are looking to kind of raise your profile and get recognition for the work that you're doing and the projects that you're delivering and the services that you support and the teams that you manage, then having a strong digital presence is really, really important. I'm a big user of Twitter. I joined in 2010. I didn't touch it for 2 years. And now I'm an avid tweeter. I think I've done over 22,000 tweets the last time I looked, which is an awful lot, isn't it? But it's been absolutely fantastic for my career in terms of my increased network. So I've met a lot of people through Twitter that I've then gone on to meet. People that I really admire, like Dr. Sue Black, but also colleagues within the HE sector, colleagues within the IT service management sector, colleagues within the service desk sector. I've learnt more stuff because I'm reading a lot more stuff, so it kind of gives me a bit of a finger on the pulse. It's allowed me to engage in things that I'm really passionate about, so things around women in IT and higher education, widening participation agendas, those kind of things. So yeah, so I would say it's not just about the awards, it's kind of having a bit of a joined up approach. I tend to use LinkedIn as a bit more of, so Twitter's very kind of short and snappy and is great for making those initial contacts, but the LinkedIn is also very good. I just use it in a slightly different way. That's more for kind of discussions, whereas Twitter's for sort of very short conversations. But it is both platforms are really, really good for talking about the the work that we do and the teams that we support. And I think it's just really positive as well if you've got, as a manager, as a leader, if the people that you are, you know, kind of leading and managing are actually see you out there talking positively about them and about the work that they are doing. And again, that's a very deliberate thing I do. It is very much part of the reward and recognition program that we use, because I know from my own experience of an impact it's had when I've seen people that are my leaders and my managers talking positively about my teams and my services. So that's something I would really recommend. And then the other one is, and it is a kind of thing of success does breed success, but being given the opportunity to get out and speak at industry events on topics and things that I'm really, really passionate about. But again, it's not just about the things that I'm passionate about, but it's talking about the work that we are doing and the projects we're delivering and the services we support. And again, it's very much about not just me, but also offering those opportunities to other people in the team as well. I think if you are interested in raising your profile and looking at career development, this would be my top kind of thing, would be to get out there and speak at conferences, speak at events. Honestly, as a conference organizer, we're always desperate for speakers. So people that will put themselves forward, they're just kind of like the dream. So those opportunities are out there. You just need to maybe go and look for them or ask. I think often people maybe wait for them. And what you find is once you've done it a couple of times, then the offers do start to come in. My challenge now is saying no to things, usually saying no to things that I really want to do because I don't have the time to do it all anymore. But being able to offer that to other people, so people in my department, people in my university, is just great for raising the profile. I think for people, it's just really empowering and gives people such a sense of achievement and pride if they're able to just go out and share their stories. And if they don't want to, so I've got some people in my areas that would rather die than do public speaking. So what I try to do there is I try to take them along to events where somebody in their area, whether it be myself or somebody else, is talking about their service in their area, so they get to have that experience and see what's being said positively about them in the sector. And so it is definitely part of my kind of reward and recognition program, and it's just great. It's a good skill to have. It makes interviews a lot easier anyway if you're a bit more experienced in public speaking. And again, for me, it's about amplifying the voice around things that I'm really passionate about. So I think that's kind of it from me. I believe I'm passing over to Jenny. Is that right, Lorraine?
Yes, that is. So can I just say thank you very much for your experience? It's fantastic.
No problem.
I had a list of questions written down and you've answered near enough all of them. All right. I just wanted to just ask you one question though.
Yeah, no
all
problem.
Right. So was 2017 your first award, or that you? It was
my first win. It wasn't my first nomination. And it was certainly not my first experience of awards. I've been entering the teams that I've been responsible for and services since about 2014, but 2017 was my...
Oh, Sally, it's like you've disappeared. I wonder if you can hear me.
She's frozen, yeah.
She's frozen. Okay, well, what we're going to do... Are you back, Sally?
I think I'm back.
Yes, yeah. You are.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. That's okay, that's fine. I just wanted to know then, all right, did you actually, what was your job title before 2017?
I was service desk manager at the University of Leeds until December 2015, and then I joined Leeds Beckett University and head of end user services. So I've been head of end user services since December 2015.
Okay, and so I just wondered whether you've been promoted since your awards, or if that was one of the effects,
No, I mean, I did get some, one of the effects is I've been given additional responsibilities and some additional projects, but not yet the promotion. But to be honest, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the interesting stuff. And I think that's the value for me, is I get to do some interesting stuff, and that's, you know, that's really nice. And that's kind of what motivates me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking from the point of view of people really wanted to make a career progression, and maybe, you know, them using this as one way, as you say, you used it to get noticed by the people within. You externally got noticed and influenced the people within. So I'm just wondering whether, you know, it went as far as promoting you in your job. But I don't think higher education is the kind of sector where you are likely to get a promotion because you've won an award. You're more likely to get a promotion because you know, it's a whole raft of things, and it is about that. It's about you know, exposure, raising your profile, and it's about the opportunities that it brings with it rather than the actual award. I just can't see, I could be wrong, but I can't see anybody in HE getting promoted because they've won an award. Certainly not within IT. But above, isn't it? It is, and it's the opportunities it brings. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Is there, can I just ask, before we move on to Jenny, has anybody got any questions for Sally?
I've got a wee question, if that's okay.
Okay, would you like to tell us your name and what institution you're from?
Yeah, I'm Julie Christie and from the University of Dundee.
Okay, go ahead, Julie. Thank you.
Really interesting presentation, Sally. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What in terms of the, we've got some people going forward for awards at the moment, and if they get to the fortunate or maybe unfortunate stage of meeting a panel, what would be your biggest piece of advice for them going into the room? And, you know,
so I treat it like an interview. So be prepared, know what you're going to say, you know, match it to the criteria. So always have the criteria for the award in your mind. But most importantly is be authentic, be yourself. Because that's, you know, from sitting on the other side, that's what is really exciting about being involved in the judging, is seeing people's real stories and seeing the passion and seeing the commitment. I think, you know, that's what's important to me. I think authenticity and just being, you know, don't try to be something that you're not.
Yeah. I've got another question, if that's okay. I don't know what kind of state your team was in when you first started out on your journey to really push forward on the recognition and reward piece. How did you engage with staff to really sort of trust and become engaged with the process, the planning, you know, getting involved in being part of it and things?
I think it was because we were doing the service desk certification program, it all really came about through that. And that was a massive improvement program, but we'd been given the money for the certification, which was, you know, quite a considerable chunk, on the understanding that there would be no project management, there'd be no additional resource. So we'd kind of, the team had to deliver it or we couldn't do it. And actually that was where the benefit was. So they were all very engaged in that process. And so when we got the 2-star and then when we got the 3-star, it was the sense of, it wasn't me on my own. We delivered it as a team, and it wasn't a project that delivered it. It wasn't, you know, we didn't have any consultancy, we didn't have any of that. It was the service desk team. And so really they were already very engaged in that and they wanted to shout about it. So it came from there. I also had Antonia, who I've referenced, was just how I would always describe her as the team cheerleader. So she was very engaged and she's all about celebrating and shouting about success. So she was like really up for it as well. So so it was kind of, I didn't just, they weren't engaged in the award, they were engaged in the work, and therefore they wanted to celebrate and shout about it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And is that kind of spread across the whole of IT?
It did a little bit at Leeds. I mean, maybe not as much as I would have liked to have hoped. Certainly when you're getting into, infrastructure people, but they're not, they like to just get on, don't they?
Yeah.
More so at Leeds Beckett, where we've not gone for any team awards, but we've gone for some of the individual awards. And we've had 3 winners in the department this year. There was myself, won the one in January. Tanya, who's unfortunately just left us, but she won the Northern Powerhouse Award. And then Fizan won the IT Support Team Leader Award. They feel like a win for the department, and there's a lot of support from the department, so that that's it's a team effort. And what we've got now is people in the team department nominating other people in the department.
Can I just say, Sally, that your award felt like a win for UCISA.
Oh, good. There was myself. I think there was 3 winners from higher education, which was pretty amazing. I know 4, because was it 3 or 4? There was Jenny.
I think it's 3. Tanya. Was it Tanya?
No, not the ones I won. There was Alison Davis, and an Italian lady. She won Future CIO of the Year.
Gloriana.
That's it. And then myself, and I think there might have been another one at those ones. But then we also had Tanya's and Jenny's, which is just amazing for our sector. But to me, that's testament to where we are. We are sector leading in terms of IT and some of the stuff that we're doing in HE. So higher education is something I'm really passionate about. So being able to fly the flag is, say, look at us in higher education, we're showing everybody else how it's done, is another element, another strand to it. So yeah, I wouldn't want to work anywhere else.
Oh no.
I was just going to say, Sally, do you think that we should have our own awards then? Do we have our own awards?
We do. UCISA have them. They've not been utilised much in the past few years, but they're not individual awards. They're more focused on sort of projects and services and things like that. So the UCISA Award for Excellence, I think they run every couple of years. I'm not sure. I think for me the benefit is actually pitching against the wider sector. It's being up there with everybody. So to be able to say, Faz won the support professional against people from companies such as CGI who sell Service Desk as a service. To me, that's kind of us showing we're leading the sector. So that's kind of my view. I mean, I'm not anti us having our own, but I quite like the fact that we're pitched against the big finance companies and stuff like that, and we're still winning. It's brilliant.
Yeah, variety is good, isn't it? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move on now. So can I just say thank you so much. Don't go problem. Yet, because we're going to still out some more questions at the end, but we're going to move on to Jenny now. So Jenny, are you ready?
I am, yes. I'm afraid I don't have a lovely presentation. I quite liked Sally's comic book thing in her presentation.
I have to confess, I have somebody in the team that does that for me. I don't do it, but
great. I might have to steal that for my next presentation.
No problem.
Yes, I was just going to talk very briefly about my experience. I think there's a lot of similarity with Sally's experience in that the team, so I'm part of the IT training team, or I lead the IT training team, which is part of information management and technology at LSE. I've been doing this for 12 years. And over that time, we have kind of been involved in a number of different award processes or events. When they used to have the Institute of IT Training, so we used to put forward projects there. Some of them were about joint projects with some of our suppliers. Some of them were about projects that we'd done within the team or with other people within the organization. It was always lovely. It was always an interesting process to go through, particularly, as Sally was saying, when you're competing against people who are not in higher education, but maybe have a different level of resourcing or a different scope. I think we found with things like the Institute of IT Training, which later became the Learning and Performance Institute, we were up against really big hitters. You were up against like Barclays Global and their training programs. And so in that case, the process of going through it, of thinking about what is it that you have achieved and sort of ending up shortlisted up against these big hitters, that in itself was quite a validation for the work and the effort of the team. You can probably tell we never won any of those, but it was a fantastic process to go through. And as Sally said, I think there was value in sort of recognizing that engagement with other parts of the institution, with other teams that you might be working with, or with some of your external partners who are supporting the work that you're doing. For team motivation, again, the process and getting into that process or being shortlisted was highly motivating. And I think you might get a bit of a taste for it. So over the years, the team started, maybe they were a little bit pushed in the beginning to be involved in it. And now when we do our annual team objectives, it's one of the things that's on there is what awards are we going to look at this year? How are we going to recognize what work we're doing? What have we really been successful at in the last year that we want to shout about? So I think there is, once you kind of get over any nervousness or concerns about going through that process, I think then it can sort of snowball in a very positive way to thinking about how do we celebrate our success and how do we celebrate what we do really well. We also have some internal awards that we do both within our division and within the school. And it's been quite nice to be able to use those to celebrate some of the smaller successes. So I think a lot of these awards can feel a bit daunting and a bit overwhelming. But if there is a kind of recognition or a way of celebrating success, which might be on that slightly smaller scale, that's a really useful way of both recognizing the work, but also getting used to talking about your success. So when Sally was talking a bit about some of the process and the value that came out of it, I think in our case, one of the biggest wins for us was learning about how do you talk about your success and how do you feel okay about talking about your success. So the award that I won is the FDM Every Woman in Technology Award, and I won in the academic category, which was fantastic. I don't have a presentation, but Lorraine did ask me if I could share one photo. So this is the photo from the event. I have this beautiful purple plate that sits behind my desk now, which is quite a talking piece. And it was a fantastic opportunity on a number of different levels. I think, as Sally was saying, I nominated myself for this award. That was an uncomfortable experience to talk about yourself in a really positive way to try and, make the work that you do sound worthy, award worthy, was not something I was comfortable with. And the reason I went for this award and the reason I nominated myself was for that reason, was to push myself to really talk, to talk in that way and to not be, it's not that you don't want to be humble. Of course you want to be humble, but you also want to be comfortable with your success. Now, although I won this award, it's my name that they called out, the award is for work that was done by the team. And it's really important then, of course, to recognize that it's not just about one person. I got to go to the dinner, but it is on the work that the entire team has done. And we've been really careful about making sure that that's clear in all of the publicity and the celebration of it that happened after the fact. The Every Woman in Technology Awards are, again, across various industries and even across the world. And it is to celebrate the contribution of women in technology. So I was really honored to win in that category, or to win in that sort of environment. I think, like Sally, championing women in IT is really important. And having people who can be role models, people who are visible in their success within IT is quite important to addressing some of the gaps. The award that I won, the academic award, was about having an impact and getting more women and girls into STEM subjects. So I was extremely proud that the work that we've done around that was recognized. So as I was saying, the sort of value in it was, for me personally, about getting over the awkwardness of talking about yourself in a really positive way. And I have to also give a shout out here to the Aurora program, which is from Advanced HE. And I don't know if any of you know of anyone who's been on it or have been on it yourself, but it's a fantastic program which is set up to help more women in higher education get into leadership. As an IT trainer and as a learning and development professional, I've been on so many training courses, and this might be the best learning and development opportunity that I've ever taken part of. It's great for networking. It's great for understanding the challenges of women at different institutions in different contexts, but it is just fantastic in really understanding yourself and your career and where you want to go and how you can get there. And so this award, putting myself forward for this award, was kind of an exercise that came out of that. But it was also really useful, not just in thinking about how do I talk about my career, but it was interesting to talk about how do I talk about the success of the team. And I found that in every award that we've gone for, where they ask you what kind of metrics did you use, they talk to you about what business impact you've had. It helps you to really focus on that, and it helps you to really consider, what did we do that was so successful? How did we measure it? And that then becomes the way that you think about every project that you do, even though you're not thinking of putting forward for any kind of an award, but you're thinking about what does make something successful and how do we do that in the future. It is a really positive experience to talk about yourself in that way, to get over the awkwardness, to talk about your team in that way. And I think that has kind of long-term effects. So it's not just in the moment when you're having to sit in front of a panel and talk about what your successes are, but it makes it that much easier in other conversations to be advocating for your team, to be sponsoring the work of your team, and to talk about it in a really confident and positive way. I have not had as many, probably because I have not done a very good job of networking, I've not had as many opportunities to go out and talk about the award after the fact. But I think the process itself was such a valuable learning experience that I can't recommend it highly enough, going through that process. You were asking a moment ago, Lorraine, about UCISA awards, and there are some awards. I do need to give a little bit of a shout out. I'm right now sitting in our training room, which is the Amber Miro training suite. And UCISA has the Amber Miro Innovation Award, which I've just checked and has not actually been awarded since 2015. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But it's another one of those UCISA awards, and it's designed to recognize innovation in delivery of technology services anywhere in HE. So just a little plug, if people are thinking about the different awards that are available, I think it's probably worth checking out what UCISA has done or may do. If you want to sort of talk about what you've done within HE. Don't really have anything else to share, but more than happy to go on to any questions. I know a few were submitted earlier on, or if anyone has any other specific questions, happy to take those.
Before I get the rest of the audience to ask a question, I'd like to ask you a question. So the thing is that this was the award that you nominated yourself for, and when you went along, was there a cost that you had to pay to attend the event? I just want to know whether these awards are going to, impact on the budgets that individual departments have and things like that.
Right, yeah. So for the FDM Every Woman Awards, I didn't have to pay anything to go along. I did have to pay to bring my partner. But everyone who was nominated was given a free place. In other awards, such as the Learning and Performance Institute awards ceremonies, if you are shortlisted, you are invited to pay for a ticket. So I think it's one of those things that different awards handle that in different ways. But certainly the FDM awards, which I would highly recommend to any women out there who are looking for recognition of their work, it has a number of categories, and it covers things from even some of your students. So they have awards for Rising Star, for example, which would be a young woman who is doing something amazing with technology. And I think, you know, we're always thinking about our teams and our organizations, but there's also opportunities maybe to think about some of the students or the younger people that you might work with, or apprentices and so on, and to recognize and give them a bit of a leg up, particularly for the women.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much for sharing your experience. Can I ask the audience if there's anybody that would like to ask Jeni a question? Do you want to come forward? No? Okay, so then what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to go back to some questions that were submitted earlier on. And if I can just get that up. Hold on. Okay. Just hoping that I can share my screen. Okay, so you can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
I'm hoping you can. All right, so what I'm going to do is move it along. All right, so nobody's got any questions. All right, so these are some questions that were submitted before, Jeni. It says, what's your best tip for celebrating the success of your team? You know, traditionally, IT departments are quite shy or bad at it. Yeah, it doesn't come naturally. And I know that in your experiences, both you and Sally weren't very comfortable putting forward, you know, your successes. So what are the best tips, would you say? And if you want to join in as well, Sally, after Jeni gives us her opinion.
Yeah, sure.
I think for us, it was about making that a sort of positive intention for the team. So when the team set as an objective to think about what kind of awards or recognitions we could put ourselves forward to, it then becomes a task that you actually do. And you start actively seeking, what are we doing successfully? What are we doing well? And so I think, you know, if IT departments are quite bad, you know, in IT, you get very reactive. You're always about solving problems. You aren't really about celebrating success. So I think that having something, whether that's an item on your team agenda where you say, okay, what went well this last month, or sort of looking back annually or every term, or whatever the time frame that's right for you, and saying, what have we done really successfully? What have we done really well? And then what's the most appropriate way to let people know about this? And it may not be that you always put yourself forward for an award, but you might write a case study, or you might put an article in the staff news, or put something on the UCISA blog. But I think you might have to make that positive intention and regular habits of saying, what have we succeeded at?
Yes, yeah. I can remember trying to get my team together to just show off their successes. And it was so difficult to get them all involved. In the end, they all turned up at an education day. And the sad thing that happened was that not many people came to see us. So we didn't have the audience that we really wanted. But it was very difficult getting them all involved. Sally, have you got any tips?
Yeah, sure. I think the important thing to remember is there's no one size fits all in terms of rewarding reward and recognition, and that some people you know, not going to want to go on the stage, they're not going to want to put themselves out there, they just wouldn't be comfortable. So I think always having a mixture of informal and informal sort of reward and recognition methods for celebrating success. You know, the awards are great, but we did things throughout this you know, I've done things throughout my time as a manager. One thing was just, you know, after sort of big projects or stressful periods, maybe after major incidents, making breakfast for everybody. So for the team to come in and find that you've put breakfast on for them, just to say, you know, you've done a good job. I always try to avoid saying thank you. I always like to say, well done, good job. I think saying thank you is almost saying thank you for doing that for me, and that's not really what reward and recognition is about. Sending cards, so we've sent cards to people. We've had articles on the staff website. We allow people to do public speaking, encourage it if they want to. there's just like loads and loads of little things, and it's finding who your cheerleaders in the team are as well, and maybe letting them lead on some of it, I think. So it's definitely a mixture of informal and formal, and also look into whatever your university offers in terms of financial remuneration as well. Can also be quite a positive thing. So I think there is no one, you can't just do one thing around reward and recognition and celebrating success. You've got to try different things for different people and different groups, and just having that kind of, but yeah, it's got to be it won't just happen. You've got to make a positive intention to actually, I am going to make sure we focus on celebrating success and rewarding and recognising, not just kind of the extra special stuff either. Some people just come to work, they work really hard and they do a really good job, but it kind of goes under the radar because, you know, it's not kind of groundbreaking stuff, or it's not at the forefront of everything. But so it's being able to spot that and reward and recognise that in the ways that's appropriate as well.
Lovely. There is a second question here. It says, what's the importance of working to gain recognition and reward? And I feel like you've all covered that already. But what if someone was to say that, you know, we should be getting on with the job rather than trying to seek glory? What would you say to that?
I think for me, I would say, you know, if you are a leader and a manager, then rewarding and recognising talent and work and you know, excellent customer service is your day job, because it's part of how you motivate and manage performance. And actually, the teams and individuals where they do feel valued and they do feel appreciated, they are so much more engaged and they will just perform so much better. So actually, for me, it is part of the day job. I'm not saying seeking glory, but recognising and rewarding talent, and recognising and rewarding effort and above and beyond is part of the day job. So that's kind of would say that.
Yeah, well, that's lovely. That's a lovely response. Can I just ask you, did you work in conjunction with the HR department to do this? Or
no, I just did it.
You just did it. Okay, because I know that I know that most HR departments have some kind of reward and, you know, recognition scheme, don't they?
Yeah, and I've always hooked into that, so we have always utilised that. But I've just kind of got on and done it. And in terms with the awards as well, I tend to just do it and then see where we get to, and then maybe engage HR or marketing or whatever afterwards, which is probably a bit naughty and maybe not recommended, but that's my style of working.
Thank you, Sally. Dear. How about you, Jenny? Did you work with HR at all for your team?
Like Sally, I think we have always looked at the existing structures and so on to utilize those. So things like, you know, sort of annual bonus pay rounds and so on. But for this, no, we didn't. Again, like Sally, we did it. And I think the point about the motivation for the team can't be stressed enough. Everyone is motivated by different things, and recognizing what motivates your staff and then trying to find a way to hook into that is really important. So yes, some people will be very motivated by public acclamation of what they do, and other people would be more motivated by, you know, a slight bonus, you know, if that's how your HR works. So understanding what's going to motivate your people and then using that to recognize the hard work is, as she says, is part of the job of being a manager. If you're not a manager, you're not a leader, then, you know, should you be seeking glory? Well, absolutely. I think you should be recognizing where you have been successful and what you have been doing well, if only for the process of looking at it yourself and understanding where your strengths are and how you can utilize them to the benefit of the organization and your team. So it is part of your job in the sense that if you're just focused on what you're doing and you're not thinking about what you're doing well, you're maybe not working to the capacity that you could.
Okay, that's lovely. I just really have to say I'm really happy with your responses and contribution to this 60-minute tech talk. What I'm going to do, oh look, hold on a second, I can see there's something going on in the chat. It says, oh, Wayne, thank you, very interesting. Yes, it has been an interesting, should I say, 54 minutes. So I'd just like to say thank you to both Jeni and to Sally. And I just want to bring up that, you know, we have, we run these webinars for you, the community, and we can't run them without people volunteering to actually speak and share their experiences. So as Uncle Sam says, we want you. So if you could please email me on l.barkley, that's supposed to be l.barkley@welcome.ac.uk. All right, and just let me know if you want to share anything so that we can host a webinar for you. This is a platform for the community. UCISA will send you a form shortly to find out your feedback about this 60-minute tech talk. When I say shortly, I'm hoping within this this week or the next week. But yes, if you could please fill that in and submit it, that would be lovely. So all I can just say is thank you so much for coming, everyone. And we'll see you at the next 60-minute tech talk. So thank you again, Sally and Jeni. Much appreciated.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you.